Hello everyone, welcome to Psychiatra. I'm Radhika, your host for today, and we have our honorable guest, Dr. Amrita Punjabi, who will be speaking as our guest today. So, today we have the honor of welcoming Dr. Amrita Punjabi, the head of our department at the School of Vedic Science. She's not only an experienced clinical psychologist, but also someone who brings a deep, thoughtful approach to both education and healing. Her academic journey has been unique, shaped by a different education pattern and diverse subjects, giving her a wide lens through which she views the field. With a PhD in clinical psychology and a wealth of research and field experience, Dr. Punjabi continues to inspire students and colleagues alike. We are truly delighted to have her with us for this conversation. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
All
Radhika.
right, ma'am. Shall we start asking questions?
Sure.
Yes. So, you've always spoken about psychology not as in a subject, but as a way of understanding life. So, what do you think helps a student truly connect with psychology as a way of life?
Okay, usually what we feel or what we find that people have different type of uh, ideas about psychology as a subject. Like they feel that we can read mind of people, or they feel that psychology is a subject which studies usually abnormal people, those who are having some mental health related issues. But as you mentioned, that if you want to connect psychology, and a student who is interested to work in this field want to connect psychology with life, then we also need to know that we are not here just only to help people those who are having mental health related issues. Of course we give lot of focus on it, but apart from that we are also work for people those who are having say adjustment related issues, or having career related issues, or having small distress during that can happen in their day to day life, or there can be a distress in between child and parent. So psychology is for all people. Wherever whenever there is a human behavior, we can connect psychology with the life.
Okay, that's really great, ma'am. So, going on to the next question, your educational journey was quite unique, as I've heard, with a different pattern of subjects and different subject exposures. So, how did that shape the way you approach teaching and learning today in these days?
Okay, so when I was working as a practitioner in a psychiatry hospital, that time actually I got opportunity to get connected with lot many students, those who were doing their either master's program, or they have already completed their master's program, and they were there to do internship in the hospital. So that time I started realizing that it is not sufficient to be a practitioner, because in India you will find that the statistics will give you idea that we like there is a huge need of psychologists, and like very less number of good psychologists are available. And so to groom them appropriately, they need to have good training. And for that I should also work in the field of academics, so that I can reach out to many people those who are interested to work in this field. They have the capacity, and I should be there for them.
Okay, ma'am, that's really great. Okay, so at home, as you've told in the conversation we had before, you've grown up with practices like meditation and inner reflection. How do you see Vedic tradition or spiritual practices supporting psychological well being?
This is very nice question. Actually, initially, my entire practice when I was doing, when I was working as a practitioner, my focus was entirely on Western methodologies. But when I joined Vedic Sciences department, especially when I started reading and learning more about Indian psychological perspective, gradually I got to know about the different techniques and methods that are already given in Indian psychology and philosophy,
Okay.
and that are really helpful. I have started utilizing this technique during my consultation services, and I personally got this feedback from many of my clients, student clients or professional clients, that they are doing really good. So this means that it is not there just in the textbook to read and then move on, but actually we can see its application in the field of psychology.
Okay, ma'am, that's really great. In Vedic thought, there's a strong emphasis on self-inquiry and knowing the mind. So, do you think modern psychology encourages students to reflect inwardly like that, or is that something we still need to build more space for in education?
Okay, so if we talk about whether Western psychology studies about self or not, so the answer is yes, of course. There are many psychologists, famous psychologists. They have tried to understand concept of self and how to maybe understand concept of self, but the methodology that Indian psychology applies to understand self is very different.
Okay.
The approach is entirely different because Western approach gives more focus on understanding self, keeping in mind or with reference to materialistic world,
Cool. Yes.
and how I feel, I perceive myself in world around me. Whereas when it comes to Vedic or Indian perspective about the self, it the approach is entirely understanding who am I in this cosmos and my connection with Brahman.
Okay. Okay, so that was really knowledgeable and it was really great. So, internships are such a big part of a psychology student's journey. What should student look in for a good internship and how can they make the most of it?
Okay, so if we talk about doing internship in clinical psychology field, so a student have to have good foundational knowledge about this field.
Okay.
For example, they need to know different therapeutic techniques that we utilize effectively in clinical setup. Apart from that, they also need to know about different psychometry assessment that we conduct in clinical setup.
Right.
So they need to have good understanding about, also they need to have good understanding about case studies, how to collect case study and basics of psychopathology and everything. So this will give them a kind of a readiness to join internship so that they can get more out of that internship. Whenever they will be on the field, they will be able to understand properly like what exactly role and responsibility the psychologist is carrying out and how should they support the psychiatrist in the field.
Okay.
So that part need to be taken care by the student. Of course, the other thing that they need to be alert about is the type of client the organization or the hospital is getting, like whether the hospital is of providing services to severe mentally ill patients, or they are giving more focus on clients.
Okay.
Where they are having less severe issues and that can be dealt effectively with the help of psychotherapy, or they are interested working in rehabilitation area, because there are a number of areas where clinical psychologists can work.
Okay.
So depending on their skills and their choice, they need to select kind of a area where they should approach for internships.
Okay, that's really great, ma'am. Okay, so our department is active in research too right now. So, could you share a bit about the research study program and how students can get involved in meaningful work early on?
Okay, so to prepare our students for getting entirely involved into research process or to become a good researcher, the curriculum has been designed in such a manner where initially we help them to understand basic concepts of research methodology, and we also try to provide them exposure through different conferences. We also encourage them to read research papers and articles, but gradually we expect them to be part of research team where they will be working under the supervision.
Okay.
So this process starts as soon as they enter into the department for BSc Honors Psychology program, and gradually like the faculty, they are involved in multidisciplinary researches and they are also part of some funded projects. So we carry out interview and examination through which we select students those who are having research aptitude, and then they are part of the team of research as a research assistant.
Okay.
So in this way we encourage students. Apart from that, we also like involve them for paper presentation in conferences along with the faculty. So this is the way actually we encourage our student and promote our student for research process.
Okay, ma'am. That's great. A mentor can shape the entire direction of someone's academic path. So, what do you think makes a good research mentor, and how can students find and approach one?
Okay, so first thing is that to become a good researcher, that person need to have entirely different type of thinking pattern, where why this happens, what makes this thing moving like this. So this kind of questions should be there in the mind of the student, and then they should be able to follow the guidelines given by the research methodology with the help of mentor.
Okay.
So the role and responsibility of that mentor is to stimulate kind of a curiosity of that student in that particular field area or their interest area, where they need to come up with good research question or research gap.
Okay.
And then gradually we help them to understand further research methodology, and we help them to get involved into small research projects and then the major research projects.
All right, ma'am. Okay. So psychology still faces a lot of superstitions and stereotypes, like the idea of psychologists can read mind, or the that therapy is only for people who have serious problems or mental disorders. So how do you address these gently but clearly?
Okay, so for me, like from past many years, actually, all psychiatrists and psychologists, they are working really hard to reduce this stigma and kind of a stereotypical thought process. So one of the important thing is to create more and more awareness in masses. So for that, we are the one who need to reach out to the masses and create kind of execute different type of activities through which we can create more awareness in the people around, and making them understand through different modes. So for example, if we are broadcasting this podcast, can also come under one of the awareness creation
Yes.
activity.
Okay.
Apart from that, also department is taking lot of steps like doing outreach and extension activities, and writing blogs, and using different social media platform to create more and more awareness.
Okay.
Then we also have in-house counseling center, where we give this kind of confidence that not only they are going to get mental health related services, but also like we are keeping everything confidential. So gradually I think that people will
Understand.
understand that this is not only for severe mentally ill
Okay.
people, but anybody can approach.
Okay, ma'am, that's good. Okay, so with the national education policy encouraging a return to Indian knowledge system, our department, School of Vedic Science, has been pioneering the change.
Yes.
So, how do you see Indian psychology and spiritual sciences evolving in the academic space?
Okay, so for this, I'm I'm grateful to say you that we have got this opportunity because we are part of Vedic Sciences. We are offering, because of NEP based curriculum, entire 18 credit course, where all the core courses are related to Indian psychology based concepts, and we have given a name for this course is Indian Mind Sciences, through which we are reaching out to people and helping the students to understand from basic concepts to the higher order concepts that they need to know about the Indian psychology. And not only that, apart from that, we also are trying to help them to learn how to apply Indian psychology in practice.
Okay.
So that is what currently we are doing.
Okay, ma'am, that's great. Okay. And finally, looking ahead, why do you believe psychology will be one of the most essential subjects in the future? And how do you think the wisdom of Vedic science can enrich that future?
Okay, so I personally feel that nowadays the type of environment that currently we are facing, like a lot of stress, lot of competition is there, and there is in any sector, if you see, like not only in IT field, but if you see other sectors as well, students are struggling a lot. Let me take an example. Like there was a student who was approaching me, and she was very worried about, because she was not able to she was not able to create her LinkedIn profile the way she wanted to, because from somewhere she got to know that LinkedIn profile is the way to reach out to the people, and then only, or this is the only thing through which she will be able to get a good job.
Okay.
So a lot of confusion is there in students also. They are worried and confused about their career choices, and they are highly involved in lot many other things as an addiction. So these are the things that are going to get increase day
Yeah.
by day, and that is why I think that this field, need for this field will always be there in the future.
Okay, ma'am, that was really great. And is there any other advice you would like to give to the students who are interested in psychology, or in general of people who, think of psychology as a respectful subject?
Okay, so what I wanted to tell is that when a person who thinks that they should choose this as a career option, it should not be based on any book that probably they might have read, or a movie that they probably might have watched. Because out of fascination also, many people feel that, oh, I will be able to do this, or sometimes their choice is based on their own issues, and they feel that if I do this, I'll be able to sort it out. But psychology is much more difficult and above all these things, because it is a kind of a profession where you will be working for people, those who are already in need. So for that you need to inculcate some of the soft skills. Apart from that, good fundamental knowledge of psychology is very much required, where you need to put lot of efforts, time and energy is required. So I think if you are ready for this, then of course this field is for you.
Okay, ma'am, that was really great. Okay, so this is all for today's episode, and it was really great interacting with Dr. Amrita Punjabi. She shared a lot of amazing knowledge and experiences. It was really great. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. That's a wrap for today.